Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
Welcome to the Unreal Hour.
Hi there and welcome to our show. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Emma.
And what are we here to do today, Emma?
We are giving a breakdown of the first book in the Game of Thrones series, and it's called Game of Thrones.
A Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tomato.
Totally. So for those of you that didn't catch the first half where we broke down the TV show, go back and have a listen. This is fab. This is part 2 where we're getting into those POV characters. So let's get into this. POV character by POV character. Let's start with Ned. What did you feel about Ned's character in comparison to Sean Bean's portrayal of him?
Oh, perfect. Exactly the same.
Yeah, I feel like Sean Bean did a fantastic job. He totally nailed Ned. And what about the writing? So do you feel like the book gave you more depth to Ned's character is probably a better way to word that?
Yes, absolutely.
I definitely felt so. So what were your standout moments from the book that you feel the show didn't give us?
Well, like I said, I think the dream sequences for a lot of the characters were really good.
Yeah, they're great.
Gave us lots of insight and lots of lore that we didn't get, and lots of backstory that we didn't get. Yeah,
we've got a few of them to mention. And also I feel like Ned's investigation was
it was
fuller.
A lot more in depth.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there was a gradual progression. The thoughts are going through Ned's head. He's almost clicking, but he's not quite getting there. And then he does click, but he doesn't quite want to believe it. And then he's just absolutely sure. And there's a progress to it. Whereas I feel like it was quite quick in the book.
It was.
In the show, sorry. We're happy with Sean Bean's portrayal of Ned. It definitely gives us the Ned that we...
10 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Tower of Joy was mentioned.
Yes, it was. And I actually wanted to bring up that passage.
For me, it was really interesting because it's not something I knew about.
Yeah.
So having never read the book, this being my first time.
And this would be a season 7 reveal in the show.
So this was really cool for me to find out these things earlier in the story. I think it gives you more, doesn't it?
It definitely does. I think that it was very obvious to book readers from book 1, the story of Jon's parentage.
Yeah.
Because of Ned's dream sequences and his inner monologue, his thoughts. The fever dream that he has in which he recalls the Tower of Joy give us a big thing. But this line, this repetitive line, promise me, Ned, promise me, it comes at many other times throughout the book. It's littered throughout that first book. I think one moment that stands out to me is when Robert and him are arguing about killing Dany. And he can hear Lyanna's voice saying, promise me, Ned, promise me. So, yeah, it's funny how something that was left till season 7 as this big reveal was very obvious to book readers from the get-go. Really, really, really enjoyed that. Shall we hear a little bit of that? Ned's fever dream?
Yes.
Let's do that. He dreamt an old dream of 3 knights in white cloaks and a tower long fallen and Lyanna in her bed of blood. In the dream, his friends rode with him as they had in life. Proud Martin Castle, Jory's father, faithful Theo Will, Ethan Glover, who had been Brandon's squire, Sir Mark Riswell, soft of speech and gentle of heart, the Cranagman, Howland Reed, Lord Dustin on his great red stallion. Ned had known their faces as well as he'd known his own but the years leach at a man's memories, even those he had vowed never to forget. In the dream, they were only shadows, grey wraiths on horses made of mist. They were 7, facing 3, in the dream as it had been in life. Yet there were no ordinary 3. They waited before the round tower, the red mountains of Dorne at their backs and the white cloaks blowing in the wind. And these were no shadows. Their faces burned clear even now. Sir Arthur Dane, the Sword of the Morning, had a sad smile on his lips. The hilt of the great sword Dawn poked up over his right shoulder. Sir Oswell Went was on one knee, sharpening his blade with a whetstone. Across the white enamelled helm, the black bat of his house spread across its wings. Between them stood fierce-souled Sir Gerald Hightower, the White Bull, Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. I looked for you on the Trident, Ned said to them. We were not there, Sir Gerald answered. Woe to the usurper if we had been, said Sir Oswell. When King's Landing fell, Sir Jaime slew your king with a golden sword, and I wondered where you were. Far away, Sir Gerald said, or Ares would yet sit the Iron Throne, and our false brother would burn in 7 hells. I came down on Storm's End to lift the siege, Ned told them, and the Lords Tyrell and Redwyne dipped their banners, and all the knights bent the knee to pledge us fealty. I was certain you would be among them. Our knees do not bend so easily, said Sir Arthur Dane. Sir William Darry has fled to Dragonstone with your Queen and Prince Viserys. I thought you would have sailed with them. Sir Willem is a good man and true, said Sir Oswell, but not of the Kingsguard, Sir Gerald pointed out. The Kingsguard does not flee. Then or now, said Sir Arthur. He donned his helm. We swore a vow, explained old Sir Gerald. Ned's wraiths moved up beside him with shadow swords in hand. They were 7 against 3. And now it begins, said Sir Arthur Dane, the Sword of the Morning. He unsheathed Dawn and held it with both hands. The blade was pale as milk glass, alive with light. No, Ned said, with sadness in his voice, now it ends. And they came together in a rush of steel and shadow. He could hear Lyanna screaming. Eddard, she called. The storm of rose petals blew across the blood-streaked sky, as blue as the eyes of death. Lord Eddard, Lyanna called again. I promise, he whispered. Leah, I promise. Lord Eddard, a man echoed from the dark. Groaning, Eddard Stark opened his eyes. Moonlight streamed through the tall windows of the Tower of the Hand. There's so much cool stuff in that dream. There's lore drops and history drops and everything. We're getting some of these like major players from the time of King Ares, Sir Arthur Dane, the Sword of the Morning, and the Sword Dawn. We've got that pale as milk glass line describing Dawn, which also is used to describe the White Walkers, which is also used to describe the ghost grass. So yeah, it's very, very, very cool chapter.
It is a cool chapter. Another part of that chapter, in line with the same story about the Tower of Joy, that they had been 7 against 3, yet only 2 had lived to ride away, Eddard Stark himself and the little Cranagman, Howland Reed. He did not think that it omened well that he should dream that dream again after so many years. And this was on the back of deciding where Jory's going to be buried.
Yeah.
So buried with his grandfather. Because, Martin Castle had perished with the rest.
Yeah.
Ned had pulled the tower down afterward and used its bloody stones to build 8 cairns upon the ridge. It was said that Rhaegar had named the place the Tower of Joy, but for Ned it was a bitter memory.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I didn't know any of this stuff, so reading it I was like, oh my God, that's awesome!
I just remembered what the other thing I was going to say was.
Cool.
It was about the when he's describing the Kingsguard. Is describing them. It's very clear that they're metaphor for the others, the Kingsguard. Oh, in their white cloaks, white shadows. The White Walkers are always described as pale shadows, and so are the Kingsguard often. It's symbolism, but it also, is it working up to something? Is there something going to happen with the Kingsguard later and maybe wins that likens them even more to the others, because that has been foreshadowed right from the beginning. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's very cool. So, did you have any other thoughts on Ned?
Other than that he was very, very true to the character that I first seen in the show, No, I don't think so. Comes across as a loving father, loving husband, very honourable man. That's exactly what we saw, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that I would like, an observation, not so much of the character or the writing or anything, it's, well, maybe it is about the writing slightly, is the fact that Ned has way more chapters in book 1 than anybody else. Maybe even a couple of other characters combined, and he still has more. He definitely the girls.
There was another odd dream that he had about the crypts of Winterfell.
Yes. When I was scouring to find the passage for that one popped up. I mean, I think that's the next chapter. Roughly, it's just before or just after.
Yeah,
a couple after. Do you have some notes on that?
I do. So the passage is, he was walking through the crypts beneath Winterfell as he had walked 1,000 times before. The kings of winter watched him past with eyes of ice, and the direwolves at their feet turned their great stone heads and snarled. Last of all, he came to the tomb where his father slept with Brandon and Lyanna beside him. Promise me, Ned, Lyanna's statue whispered. She wore a garland of pale blue roses and her eyes wept blood. Oh, gives you goosebumps. It's dead creepy.
It is really creepy. There's so much going on there. There's so much depth to this story, and you're intrigued and you're sucked in and you want to know more, and then he dies.
How rude.
I know. We're never going to get those answers. The only person alive that knows the answers is Howland Reed.
Yeah.
He's the only man standing.
There's another creepy... there's one where he says... Ned reached out his hand to grasp the flowery crown, but beneath the pale blue petals the thorns lay hidden. He felt them clawing at his skin, sharp and cruel, saw the slow trickle of blood run down his fingers, and woke trembling in the dark. Promise me, Ned, his sister had whispered from her bed of blood. She had loved the scent of winter roses. God save me, Ned wept. I am going mad.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good, because he's in a bad way by this point. This is like Eddard 15, so he's just about for the chop. I think that's about his last chapter, so I think that's the last crazy dream that he has.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Do you have any other thoughts?
The scene with him and Jaime played out differently.
Yeah, it did.
Like, the horse had fallen over on his leg. Jaime wasn't even there at that point.
Oh, had he left at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Ned sees him going off, and he shouts Jory, because Jory comes back in and he tells him to go. And then at that point, while he's telling him to go, the horse rears up and lands on Ned's leg. And then Ned's just, and he sees all the swords coming down on Jory. And then he's sort of passing out and
I had forgotten
waking up.
that.
And then Baelish comes back with is it with the Kingsguard he comes back?
Yeah, the gold cloaks.
The good guys, not the bad guys. Anyway, he comes with people, and then they load Ned on a cart, and then he's passing in and out, and then I think that's him. Oh, the last thing he remembers is Maester Pycelle, have some milk of the poppy.
And then, I was going to mention the milk of the poppy, because that's got a lot to do with these dreams.
And he has this badass dream.
Yeah, totally. Tripping out, man. But yeah, no, that scene, that's interesting to me. I'd forgotten that Jaime had started to head off, because...
Also, Baelish coming back for him.
That's
like,
it.
He's kind of a bit nicer in that.
He does do it in the TV show. He does say, I'll go get the gold cloaks.
We don't see him coming back.
But he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
No, it's a zoomed out shot and Ned passing out on the floor. Whereas in the book, if I remember rightly, he's crawling over to Jory's broken body.
And he's holding Jory when they arrive.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so sad.
It changes the dynamic of Jaime's part in this as well, because in the show it's portrayed through that great conversation between Jaime and Tywin that Jaime was going to kill him, but because one of the other guards stabbed him, it was, it wouldn't be sportsmanlike to, you know.
And that's not what happened.
That's not what happened in the book at all. So can you remember what it was Jaime's part and shot as he went away? Why did he walk away from the fight?
The conversation went down that Jaime had said, "You remember my brother, the little guy?" And Ned had said, yeah, well, basically Kat's got him, so if you kill me, Kat's going to kill your brother. And Jaime had said, I don't think a noble woman like Kat is going to do that. However, and now I know this, like basically he's not going to trust the honour of a woman or something like that. And then he about turns and then sets his dogs essentially on Ned and his men.
Right.
One of his men throws a spear and it goes through someone's torso, and then it all kind of kicks off a bit. But yeah, Jaime's
standing back and not getting involved.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that. The show version's so imprinted in my head that even although I read the book really recently, I'd forgotten that.
There's more light and shade with the characters in the book, which I really like.
Oh, definitely.
They're badder.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've danced in the grey of all these characters. Tyrion especially, I feel that, but we could talk about that more later when we talk about Tyrion. The darker characters are way darker. And the honourable characters have shades of grey.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. They've PG'd it a little bit for TV, which is strange saying they've PG'd anything in Game of Thrones, but they've made the good guys and the bad guys very clear.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, there's a little grey in everyone. Even the bad guys have a backstory that, made them bad.
Yeah.
No babies are born bad.
And we do get that in the show, but not like we do in the book.
No, not at all. Not at all. Right, so have we got any other thoughts on Ned before we move on?
That's everything from my notes.
So yeah, the only other thing here in the notes that I've got is that his time with Varys and Renly. There's a lot less of that in the show. There really is. He's clearly building a relationship with Varys, and he clearly has a relationship with Renly.
Yeah.
Renly being his best friend's wee brother. So yeah, there's definitely a relationship there that doesn't really come across in the TV show at all.
Not at all. And Renly comes across totally different in the book.
Yeah. Well, since he's not a POV, we might as well discuss that just now. He's a big, strong Baratheon.
Yeah, he's described as he could be Robert when he was young.
Absolutely. He is a young Robert. He's strong. He's got lots of Green Man energy, Storm King energy, all of that stuff going on. Whereas he's just a bit weedy in the TV show.
He is. He has plans in the book.
Yeah.
He's conniving. Like we were saying about, these are the
good guys.
Yeah.
Kind of.
and he's he doesn't come across like that in the show.
No, not at all.
He's more handsome in the books, in my mind.
Yes, definitely. I'll give you that.
No shade to the actor. Just
No. He's a good-looking man as well. No my cup of tea, but good-looking man.
Sort of traditionally in a sort of fantasy way.
Yes. He's burly and strong and yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more of Renly and Ned interaction. And the same with Varys. There's a relationship build there. Whereas in the show, it's like the first connect we see between Varys and Eddard is when he's already in the cells.
That's right.
But they had conversations before that. There was definitely, he was feeding him some whispers and stuff like that. But no, I think Ned was starting to trust him in the way, the only way you can trust a spider. He knows he's not trustworthy, but he also feels like he's whatever he's telling him true.
Mm-hmm.
He might run off and tell somebody else what he said, but he's not lying to him. He doesn't feel that at all, apart from his big secret master plan that he's not letting on to anybody, but we'll talk about that in a bit as well. But I definitely felt that those relationships were a bit rushed.
Mm-hmm.
From a TV show perspective, why focus on a relationship they're going to end very soon when the character dies?
I'm making a face.
She is making a face. So, I think that's us for Ned. Let's talk about Kat. She was a lot more politically active in the book. She was there making decisions, or not making decisions as such, a trusted advisory role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she came across as a respected figure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What notes have you got for Kat?
I thought she was quite similar in the show to what she was in the book. I wasn't surprised by anything that I read in the book, other than that there was more. It was just a more in-depth version of Kat.
Yes, because you've got her in her monologue, of course. So therefore
That's
you get
it. The same again. The same
depth.
as with Ned.
I think her pain and her turmoil and her love for her boys, Bran and Rickon specifically.
Bran specifically.
Bran.
Bran is her favourite.
Without a doubt, eh?
Yeah.
But her love for her boys comes across a lot stronger in the books, and her pain at being separated from him. Whereas in the show, I felt like it was like she sat by his bed, and then when it was time to move on, she moved on. And there was never really much more mention of Bran. I'm not saying she didn't stop to think about him and worry about him. Of course she did. But more in the book. Much more.
Absolutely. Rob had to have a conversation with her and say, look, come on. You've got Rickon. He's 3. He needs you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also we get more of a sense of where she's come from.
Yeah, she's very torn between her Tully ancestry.
We get more of her past. We get more about her relationship with her sister, and more about her betrothal and that story. Yeah,
she loved him.
Yeah,
that
we don't get that Ned was the consolation prize.
No, not that either. She loved Brandon. And yeah, well, it's like he's dead, so you can have him now. And she was very lucky that she found love with Ned too.
Yeah.
It could have gone very differently, but she definitely she loved Brandon.
I liked her story about, now you have to keep me right here, is it the Weeping Woman or something? It's a mountain, isn't it?
Is it a mountain? Is it a statue? Is it a statue on top of a mountain? I'm unclear.
It's very
Lady Forlorn. That's their name. Yeah.
It's very Lord of the Rings, eh? And I like that whole, this happened a really long time ago and we don't know if it's real or not. It's like a little folklore from that world. So I really quite enjoyed that, and it's not something you see Kat doing in the show.
No.
So it was quite nice to hear her character having these thoughts and having these stories in her mind, and it builds more of her. It's just nice to see.
I'm drawing a blank on the Lady Forlorn story now.
Something about her, all of the men in her family were killed, and she cried and cried and cried until, is it a waterfall or something?
So, yeah,
and that's what it's named after, and she feels she could be that.
Yeah.
That's the emotion that she's feeling because everything's going to shit.
Yeah. And that climb to the top of the Eyrie, that's scary.
That is scary, and we don't see that in the show either, which is really sad.
Yeah, the climbing where the staircase gets really narrow and there's no rail, there's nothing. That's like my worst nightmares come true. Not gonna lie, that terrified me, that chapter.
And she's terrified inside.
Yeah, I'm right there with her. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Trust the donkey.
Yeah, it's really interesting that what you were saying about the Lady Forlorn thing, because it's one of those bits that I've read and I know about it, but I can't really remember the story. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'd quite like to look into that again.
I think so. I think possibly she was thinking about Brandon dying as well, like all of the, and maybe her father being unwell. And I first only read it once, so
yeah.
Apologies if but it was cool, and it's something that wasn't in the show that got me going, oh, that's cool.
So what other notes did you have on Kat, this being your first time reading all?
Well, Another thing that I thought was really cool that I didn't know, and this came from a cat chapter, is it's actually about Winterfell rather than, when you listen to that audiobook
Yes.
and he says Winterfall.
Oh my God.
Do you not just want to stab yourself in the ear?
Yes.
You can edit this out, but oh my fucking God, that man.
And every time he says Patire.
Or in the same sentence where he said Caitlin and then Catelyn.
Yep, he did that a few times. It's hard.
It is hard.
It is hard.
I
And
appreciate
otherwise,
him
he's a
reading it to me.
fantastic narrator.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
No,
Like,
he's
well done,
great.
but did nobody say to him, that's not right, pal?
And yeah, pronounce it however you want, but at least stick to the same pronunciation all the way through. Never wavered on Patire though, did he?
No, he did not. That never Patired out.
That never did.
Okay, so back to the thing I thought was really cool, and it's about Winterfell. So the passage is, of all the rooms in Winterfell's great keep, Catelyn's bedchambers were the hottest. She seldom had to light a fire. The castle had been built over natural hot springs, and the scalding waters rushed through its walls and chambers like blood through a man's body, driving the chill from the stone halls, filling the glass gardens with a moist warmth, keeping the earth from freezing. Open pools smoked day and night in a dozen small courtyards. That was a little thing in summer. In winter, it was the difference between life and death. That's so cool. It had its own heating system. Awesome.
Absolutely. But there's some legends as to why.
Ah, brilliant. This is why I brought this up.
So we know about the hot springs, but there are theories out there that perhaps there's a secret dragon beneath Winterfell down in the crypts, and it comes from Jace and Arax. Is it Arax? Vermax.
Arax was the little one
Arax was the little one
that died with in the fight. Yes.
Yeah, so Vermax.
Yes.
That's right. So yeah, it comes from Jace and Vermax. That perhaps when Jace visited Winterfell, which he visited for a lot longer than he did in House of the Dragon, that perhaps the dragon Arax had laid some eggs beneath the crypts of Winterfell, because the crypts all connect to tunnels underneath. So the idea is that maybe the dragon got in through one of the other tunnels. And
love that. And there's a bit of spook going on there.
Oh,
in
definitely.
Winterfell, isn't there?
But that theory comes from the one and only Mushroom. So, I mean, what do we think? He was never there. He knows nothing about what happened up there. We do know how Mushroom sometimes likes to embellish.
Yeah.
For dramatic effect.
I have a question.
What was your question?
My question that I've not found out yet, obviously just reading book one, and I don't recall it from any of the shows that I've watched. So, King's Landing and the Red Keep, Maegor built that, and he built his tunnels. Who built Winterfell, and who built the crypts? How old is that? Do you know?
It was Bran the Builder.
Oh, right, okay.
Apparently. So, no, Aegon built the Red Keep.
Oh, yeah,
Maegor
that's right,
finished it.
That's right, yeah.
And he put the
Maegor
secret,
did the tunnels.
He did the
yeah.
secret passages. But yeah, the Winterfell was built by Bran the Builder, so the legends say. But Bran the Builder's given credit to a lot of buildings that maybe... But I think if any are true, if Bran the Builder is a real character that really did exist, he's heavily implied to be a Stark. So yes, I would say Winterfell is probably true. And the Wall is probably true.
Winterfell's old.
Winterfell's old, definitely. It is one of the first ancient keeps. It's apparently warded with magic, or at least the crypts are.
So that's really cool. What were the two bottom collapsed chambers? What were they?
So the theories are that maybe there's other green seers down there, like Bloodraven.
Okay.
Hooked up to the trees in their weirwood thrones.
I like that.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I really think that's a really cool and plausible and interesting theory. One of the other theories is just that the secrets of Jon's parentage is down there somewhere too.
Well.
Yeah. But the most plausible theory that I can find online regarding the crypts is that heavy foreshadowing that these stone statues are going to come to life.
Right, okay.
There's a prophecy about the Horn of Winter is rumoured to wake giants from the earth. So what if it's connected to Winterfell, the Horn of Winter, Winterfell, and that its purpose is to wake the Starks of old? So
Does that mean Lyanna would come back?
Possibly, yes. So generations of Starks have been buried there since. So we're talking that this would be something that would go back to the Night's King and potentially the Long Night, as well as a defense mechanism to call on should things go awry again. And this whole thing about the giants waking. Now these statues, they do not do them justice in the TV show. They are described as giant-like themselves. So I think it's Theon. There's a few examples of this, but this is the one that I can remember clearly. And Theon is down there, and he's taken Barbary Dustin down to, because she wants to see Brandon, because that's her old lover. You'll get to that, right? But he takes her down there. The way he describes, like, that he's looking up at this statue, but they're sitting down. So, you know, he's a full-grown man standing, looking up at this statue of this Winter King sitting down. So they're huge. They're absolutely huge, and the show didn't do them justice, although they are still very cool in the show. I will give them that. They are very cool, but they're not big enough. So that's the most plausible Winterfell crypt theory that I have heard. I think it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I know.
I'll look forward to getting
I hope it happens. I really do.
This will be something to keep an eye on
Yeah.
while I'm working my way through reading the books and learning more about the world.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll find out some more answers to things that I don't know.
Well, yeah, later on, I know you love the dreams. Later on, Jon has a recurring dream about the crypts of Winterfell.
Oh,
so that'll
cool.
be worth looking out for.
Awesome.
Definitely.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. In fact, I think I actually have the quote here.
Oh, cool.
So, what have we got? Where did I put it? Oh, yeah. And then I find myself in front of the door to the crypts. It's black inside, and I can see the steps spiralling down. Somehow I know I have to go down there, but I don't want to. I'm afraid of what might be waiting for me. The old kings of winter are down there, sitting on their thrones with stone wolves at their feet and iron swords across their laps. But it's not them I'm afraid of. I scream that I'm not a Stark. This isn't my place, but it's no good. I have to go anyway. So I start down, feeling the walls as I descend, with no torch to light the way. It gets darker and darker until I want to scream. He stopped, frowning, embarrassed. That's when I always wake. And that is quite early on with Sam, actually, in the book. It must have just got lost and somewhere. There's another one as well. He has it again later. It's sort of shorter one. Last night, he dreamt the Winterfell dream again. He was wandering the empty castle, searching for his father, descending into the crypts. Only this time, the dream had gone further than before. In the dark, he heard the scrape of stone on stone. When he turned, he saw that the vaults were opening, one after the other, as the dead kings came stumbling from their cold black graves. Jon had woken in the pitch dark, his heart hammering.
No wonder, what a terrifying dream.
It is, isn't it? It's crazy. But yeah, so that's Jon's reoccurring dream, and it goes on, carries on throughout the book, so keep your eyes peeled for it.
Cool.
I think there's meaning there.
It is totally awesome that Winterfell has hot tubs.
It is, isn't it? I love that, you know, like just being a lady and all that. I'm love for Kat that she has the warmest room in the castle. And it's quite interesting, that scene, actually, because like her and Ned have just had sex, and you know they're totally naked as the day they were born. And Maester Luwin comes in with the note, and Kat's totally naked.
Yeah,
she gets up and deals with the note, burns it, etc. And Ned's like, "What are you doing, woman?" He's like, "He's delivered all of my children. He's seen me naked before."
Yeah, he's had a good look right up there. I am not ashamed in the slightest.
No, absolutely
We've all
not.
been there, girls.
Yeah,
Most of us.
Right. So, what else have you got on Kat?
That's it for Kat, to be honest. I know she's got a lot of chapters, but again, I feel that she's very well portrayed from what I've seen in the show.
Yeah.
I didn't learn a huge amount. Just like I said with Ned, there was a bit more in-depth thought processes and inner monologues. No dreams with Kat.
No. I think that, it is. It's just a much more, it's the same story with more layers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. But love Kat as a POV character. And it's a way, it was an interesting choice that George decided not to give Rob a POV and we only see him through Kat's eyes.
Yeah.
Or Bran's eyes earlier on before they leave Winterfell. It was really interesting because he all the other Stark children are POVs except Rob. And George really wanted us to see this boy through the eyes of his mother, which I thought was a very interesting choice. Do we have any other thoughts on Kat? No? We're
No.
good. Right, let's move on to John. So what did you feel about John's portrayal in the book?
How can I word John? He's much younger. He's much younger. However, he's deeper.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to describe it. You totally get the loving brother vibe in both.
Yes.
And you also totally get I think Kat was worse to him in the book than she was in the show. Like, you got the vibe that she didn't like him, but in the book she was fucking mean to him.
She really was, actually. Yeah,
horrid.
She was very harsh.
Yeah, when he came to say goodbye to Bran, she was a fucking bitch.
She was, and she was horrible to him in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're getting her thoughts as well as what she's saying,
Yeah.
it's one thing to say something mean in the heat of the moment and strong emotions are taking over, but what she thinks about him,
I think also in the book,
worse.
because he's only 14 at this point,
something like that.
a 14-year-old kid treating him like that is just it's quite despicable. She's a mother of 5.
Yeah.
And has a son his age, and to treat him that way.
Poor wee boy hasn't he got a mum?
Yeah, just as a mum, I thought, you fucking bitch. How rude.
I absolutely agree with that. It's my sticking point with Kat that almost made me not like her.
What it does though is makes you really connect with John as a character and get behind him, because us Scots love an underdog, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Definitely.
So from the get-go, you're rooting for John.
Yes, definitely. I think you're right. I think that has the way Catelyn treats him has got a lot to do with how quickly you get behind him.
Yeah.
For that reason. Yeah.
So for me, with John in the book, what I really wanted to highlight in this episode was my difference between the show and the book with a particular scene that I thought was absolutely shit.
Yes, you mentioned it in the first half. So now you've got your book notes in front of you. Tell us why you didn't like this scene, Emma.
So the scene in the show, you can only do what you can do on screen for a viewer.
Yeah.
The way George has written this scene, you picture everything in your mind and you feel everything, and you're there at every step of John's thought process in the I don't know if you can call it a fight.
Yeah. There's one lunge and a paragraph of thoughts go with it. There's
also a thing I feel like I have to check it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't think it happened in the show. And it's to do with he's a raven, isn't he? He's not a crow. Is he a crow? The bird.
It's a raven.
The old bear. So the old bear's raven is shouting corn, 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 while John is having this altercation with this dead guy.
Yeah.
And Ghost is also involved in that. I'm going to get to the bird changes what he says. The bird tells Jon what to do. The bird shouts, burn, burn, burn. So in the show, I'm pretty sure that at no point it's mentioned that the bird told Jon what to do. Jon's just supposed to have had this epiphany during this crazy altercation to set it on fire.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not what happened. The bird told him what to do. So, just saying, that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
But also, the point of why it was better was, I'll read it. Jon had no time to be afraid. He threw himself forward, shouting, bringing down the longsword with all his weight behind it. Bearing in mind he's only 14. Steel sheared through sleeve and skin and bone, yet the sound was somehow wrong. The smell that engulfed him was so queer and cold he almost gagged. He saw arm and hand on the floor, black fingers wriggling in a pool of moonlight. Ghost wrenched free of the other hand and crept away, red tongue lolling from his mouth. The hooded man lifted his pale moon face and Jon slashed at it without hesitation. The sword laid the intruder open to the bone, taking off half his nose and opening a gash cheek to cheek under those eyes. Eyes like blue burning stars. Jon knew that face. Othor, he thought, reeling back. Gods, he's dead. I saw him dead. He felt something scrabble at his ankle, black fingers clawed at his calf. The arm was crawling up his leg, ripping at wool and flesh. Shouting with revulsion, Jon pried the fingers off his leg with the point of his sword and flipped the thing away. It lay writhing, fingers opening and closing. Jon tried to shout, but his voice was gone. Staggering to his feet, he kicked the arm away and snatched the lamp from the old bear's fingers. The flame flickered and almost died. Burn! The raven cawed. Burn! 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 You don't get that in that scene when you watch it.
No, you don't.
Oh God, when I read that, I was like, oh, holy shit. You can imagine being 14 and like the wolf is attacking, things are on fire, the raven's shouting its head off, this dead guy, you're like, oh my God, it's the dead guy. Holy shit, it's the fucking dead guy.
Exactly.
The arms, it's crawling up your leg. Oh, no, everything about it is terrifying.
So, thoughts, first of all, do you think George is an Evil Dead fan?
Oh, awesome.
There's definitely some Evil Dead vibes going on there. Love it. Totally. Gotta love some Bruce Campbell. Anyway, love that. Love those Evil Dead vibes. The other thought that's going through my head is while you're saying burn, 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 the raven cried, I'm thinking, is it the raven or is it Blood Raven? See, that's the thought. But yeah, Blood Raven.
It was shouting corn before that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Blood Raven is he's a greenseer, which means he's a warg. Right?
And all the thing
because greenseers are the most powerful wargs.
All the thing ever says is corn, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's the Corn King. But I think that's much later on in the books, in a later book. But there's something there. The Raven does say one or two things that are out of the norm, but mostly it just does say corn.
Cool.
But there's other things that make a lot of theorists believe that the Blood Raven is communicating through the Raven and spying through the Raven. He is a warg after all, and so therefore he can absolutely, what's the word?
Communicate?
Yeah, but there's a word for it. Skin change.
Yeah.
There we go. He could definitely skin change ravens. In fact, ravens were his thing. He's got a raven birthmark, raven-shaped birthmark on his face. Ravens are definitely Blood Raven's thing. You see where I'm going with that? So maybe. Deeper lore. Love it. So yeah, well, carry on. What were you saying?
No, that's me for Jon. I'd like to know what you thought of Jon.
I like you say, it's that underdog thing from the get go. I was rooting for this kid. He feels so rejected in his own home. His father, well, the only father he knows, clearly loves him, and he has a great relationship with him and some of his siblings.
Most of them.
Most of his siblings, bar one. But he just can't wait to get out of there. Where he can find some sort of destiny for himself, something above it. All his siblings are destined for greatness. His brother's going to be Lord of Winterfell. His sister's going to marry a prince. Bran and Arya, they're
I think he says that, doesn't he? He says, my sisters are going to marry and be ladies of their own castles, and Bran and Rickon will be bannermen.
Yeah.
Robb will be Lord of Winterfell. And that's his reasoning to his Uncle Benjen for going. And there's sad.
One.
His Uncle Benjen says,
loves his Uncle Benjen.
You've never known a woman.
Yeah.
And Jon's like, he says, go and father your own bastards. He's like, I'll never father a bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, I know in the show he says this later on to Sam and explains why he'll never, why he's still a virgin, basically, because he couldn't do it because of the thought of fathering a bastard. Did that happen in the book? I can't remember now.
I can't remember. I feel like the only time I remember it was the conversation with Uncle Benjen.
Yeah, me too. So I feel like that's something they switched up a little bit. They've made it a moment where he's connecting with his friend, as opposed to something he's saying very early on. Because Uncle Benjen must have been Jon's first chapter.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Right, okay. So what notes have I got here on Jon? Talking about his feelings of isolation. I love how, actually, one of the parts that I really loved in the book that I don't think came across in the show very well was his introspection. He's thinking about the wall, the Night's Watch. He becomes disillusioned. He thought it was going to be this great band of, noble warriors.
And it's actually fallen to bits, and they're all a band of
thieves and rapists.
Yeah. And little boys that can't fight.
Yeah, and it's not what he thought it was. And
it's when it's pointed out to him that you learn to fight having a what do you call it? What's it called?
Master at arms.
Yeah, you had a master at arms. These boys here learned to fight because they had to, because they were fighting in the street.
Yeah.
You need to be their friend and teach them, not fight with them, fight against them.
Yeah, which is how he got the title Lord Snow.
Yeah.
Because he was lording over them with his knowledge, and I'm better than you, I'm trained, and I can kick all your asses because I want to be a ranger, so I'm going to batter everybody so I can prove that I'm the toughest one here.
I would say, see in the book, Sir Alistair Thorne, right?
Oh, that God.
He is an absolute knob, right? But see in the show, I kind of like him, although he's a horrid cunt. I still kind of like him because he gives that sort of making you learn a lesson the hard way, like Skill of Hard Knocks vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he is an absolute arsehole.
Yeah, I think for the point for me, like that I started to think you're a prick was when he called him a traitor's bastard.
Yeah.
And it was just mean.
There
was no School of Hard Knocks there. He was just being a cunt. But before that, yes. And
when you think of what he's preparing these boys for, though, I think that's the bit in the show that I think's done well.
Yes, yeah, I do think so.
Because he needs them to be, they're the first line of defence against the most fucking terrifying thing.
I'm not even sure if he's one of these people that really believes in the White Walkers, though. But certainly the wildlings are a threat, and we know that they're massing an army, or, there's whispers, there's rumours. There's definitely shit going on north of the wall that's making...
What do we know about him? Did he go to the wall as a wee boy that was a little dick, or was this something that happened to him later in life? Do we have any backstory on Thorne?
Yes, I do actually. There's not much, but he was a Targaryen loyalist. And after the sack of King's Landing, he was sent to the wall, along with others. But what I did find really interesting was Randall Tarley, Sam's dad, and Mace Tyrell, we know who he is, they were both Targaryen loyalists as well. And they got to retain their lands and titles, etc. And I think the reason being is that they won their battles against them.
Okay.
So there was the Battle of Ashford that Randall Tarley totally just annihilated them.
Mm-hmm.
But Mace Tyrell showed up at the end, took control because he's the Lord Paramount. He's, in rank, he's above, and he took credit for it.
Right,
But
okay.
everybody knows that Randall Tarley really won that battle. And then he led the siege of Storm's End.
Okay.
Which was also successful. So yeah, Randall Tarley and Mace Tyrell siege Storm's End with Stannis Baratheon inside for the better part of a year. And the siege was only lifted when Ned Stark showed up after the sack of King's Landing and the Battle of the Trident and relieved Stannis and went, the war's over and we won and you lost, so back down. But they were allowed to retain their lands and titles, whereas lesser lords like Alistair Thorne were just sent off to the wall. So
he was a lord?
No, he's a knight.
Right, okay.
Now I'm thinking... So yeah, I shouldn't have said lesser lord. He was a knight that fought for the Targaryen side, but it doesn't actually say anywhere in the wiki which house he was connected to or fought for. He might have been a hedge knight, like Dunk, he but it doesn't say what house he was connected to. So who knows? But yeah, look, I think it's only the important people that can buy their way out of a trip to the wall, perhaps.
Well, what a shock.
I think after all that time, though, maybe the realm just wanted peace, and it's one thing to chuck lonely knight up to the wall, but to tear down an important house.
I suppose there's an element of making an example.
Yes, that too. And who knows what naughty things they did during the sack of King's Landing.
That's true.
Yeah. There may have been reasons for it, because he is a bit of a dick.
A bit.
That was the answer to your question. So did you have any other notes on Jon?
No, all my Jon notes are done and dusted.
So other than the Winterfell crypts thing, I had one other thing that I just really wanted to highlight because I thought it was lovely. So I mentioned it in the first part when we were talking about Jon and Sam taking their oaths. And it was I said it was a grove of 9 weirwoods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I found the passage. It's so beautifully described. It's lovely.
Oh, nice.
The sun was sinking below the trees when they reached their destination, a small clearing in the deep of the wood where 9 weirwoods grew in a rough circle. Jon drew in a breath and he saw Sam Tarley staring. Even in the Wolf's Wood, you never found more than 2 or 3 of the white trees growing together. A grove of 9 was unheard of. The forest floor was carpeted with fallen leaves, blood red on top, black rot beneath. The wide, smooth trunks were bone pale, and 9 faces stared inward. The dried sap that crusted in the eyes was red and hard as ruby. Bowen Marsh commanded them to leave their horses outside the circle. This is a sacred place. We will not defile it. When they entered the grove, Samwell Tarley turned slowly, looking at each face in turn. No two were quite alike. They're watching us, he whispered. The old gods.
That's really cool.
Love it. Such just the descriptive writing for George. It's
you can
brilliant.
see it.
You can. You absolutely can. And God, I just wish Dan and Dave felt the same thing when they read that passage.
Oh dear.
And they're just like, 1 weirwood will be enough. Well, I suppose for those of us that didn't know any better at the time, 1 weirwood was enough, but disappointing on reflection.
Yeah.
What other things did I have to say about Jon? I think I had 1 or 2 other notes. Yeah, the one thing I felt was missing in the show was his friendship with Donal Noy. Donal Noy was like they were buddies, and he's not even in the show. And it's just like, I think that dynamic that Jon had other friendships other than Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's Pip and Gren as well. And again, in the book, the one-on-one friendships come across a lot better. Whereas in the show, it felt like there was Sam was his bestie, and then there was the other three.
Yeah, it gave Samuel Gamgee and like Pippin and Merry vibes.
Yes.
It was,
yeah, exactly. And it just wasn't like that. John had he had different relationships going on all over the place. And Donald Noy is just such a cool character that it's just absolutely shit that he was missed out.
Wasteful.
Absolutely. So Donald Noy, if you don't know or remember, was the Smith, and he actually came from Storm's End. He was the one that made the Robert Baratheon's Warhammer, the one that killed Rhaegar. And I just think that's such a cool piece of lore / history that it's just, again, just another thing that's just missing. But I can kind of see why it was cut as well, because other than that one fact, it doesn't serve the narrative.
Yeah, but it could have been one conversation. It's at least interesting.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of lines. It didn't take me long to say it, does it?
No.
So he could have told that wee story quite quickly. But yeah, I suppose they have to weigh it up. Does it serve the narrative? Because we're talking putting a 35-hour book into 10 hours of TV. So I suppose something's got to give.
Yeah, well, we can't all be Peter Jackson.
No.
And even he missed some bits.
Definitely. Did a fab job though. Right, so I don't think I've got anything else to say about John.
Who would you like to talk about next?
Ooh. Okay, let's do Sansa first.
Cool. Well, she's not in the show as much as she is in the book. No, she's not in the book as much as she is in the show, and that's fine.
No, because we get Sophie in every episode. Yeah. Whereas there's 5 chapters in the book, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more to her in the book, though.
Yeah. She's definitely got a lot more layers.
And she's so young, bless her. But one of the bits I really liked that you didn't really get in the show that you got in the book was a bit of foreshadowing about pain.
Oh, yeah.
So the part I liked, the bit I've taken from the book is Sansa could not take her eyes off the third man. He seemed to feel the weight of her gaze. Slowly he turned his head. Lady growled. A terror as overwhelming as anything Sansa Stark had ever felt filled her suddenly. And as we know, he's the guy that chops her dad's head off.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
End. So Lady's totally channeling with Sansa. Like this guy is
vibe
bad.
From this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often wondered about that, like the wargang power that the Stark children have. Does it come with a kind of sixth sense as well? Like, is there other elements to it other than just skin changing? We know about green dreams and things like that, but maybe a little bit of foresight as well might be a thing.
Possibly, it seems that way with that part of it.
Yeah, because it's like green seeing on a very small scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that might be one of the things George is referring to when he says that all the Stark children are wargs.
Yeah.
We don't see enough of it with Sansa. She didn't get enough time with her wolf, but little things like that.
Yeah. I think also for her character in the book, for me, it was a big change to read how young she was, how really, really young she was. And her relationship with her sister was hilarious in the book. I mean, it was funny in the show, but it was hilarious in the book. There was parts that I genuinely did really laugh out loud. They were so bickery. It was so funny. And there's these whole bits in her chapters where she's just going, why is my sister like this? She can't possibly be my sister. And she just tears it up for arse paper. She just slags off every single bit of her sister. And it's so sisters, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
She does love her, but at the same time, she's like, oh my God, how is she related to me? I don't get it. Why is she such an arsehole? Yeah. Why is she ruining my life?
Definitely. And she does feel like that. Is like the Arya just ruins everything.
Yeah, absolutely. They're so different. They're so chalk and cheese. There's a part as well that's not in the show that I'd picked up on, and that Joff and Sansa were actually drinking that day that Joff gets bitten.
Yeah,
so there's an element of being really young and sort of wanting to show off to this young man that she's going to be married off to, who he's also a kid, really. But she's never drank. So she's sitting there getting pissed at what? Was she 12?
No, she's had a couple of supervised glasses of wine here and there,
so
and that's
she's now
maybe
getting
it.
like smashed with no adults
Because
there.
I am the prince, I can do what I want.
Yeah.
You can have as much wine as you want, my lady.
Oh dear, well, we've all been there, maybe not at 12.
Yeah, well.
Here we are.
Tell my mum.
Mine had to come get me, but never mind.
Outtakes.
Oopsies.
But yeah, they were a bit drunk that day, and it just adds more fuel to the fire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of emotion going around, and a little bit of it was alcohol fuel too.
Yeah, she also had her little buddy with her more in the book than she did in the show. I didn't realise that, what's she called? Jane Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Jane Poole was with her everywhere. And you didn't really see so much of that in the show. You did in Winterfell.
Yeah.
But there was a lot more of it in the book.
Yeah.
So for me, that was really interesting to see another difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Her and Jane Poole's relationship is there's a lot more of her.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more. That girl is present throughout the entire series, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every few chapters we hear about Jane Poole.
Well, yeah, I'll certainly have more to say on that as we dissect the other books.
But yeah, she's definitely a strong presence, but not, never a POV, never a central to any.
And they have a more sisterly relationship than Sansa and Arya do.
Oh yeah, they do.
So it's her total bestie.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any other thoughts on Sansa?
No, that's all my Sansas.
So yeah, I've just got in the book, it's sort of like she's got this life through a naive lens, but it gradually starts to crack, right? But in the show, they kind of just, I don't think her bubble bursts quite as soon in season 1, you know what I mean? Or it's not portrayed because it's internalized, it's an inner monologue again. Yeah. So we don't see things really start to change with Sansa.
Until she goes to push Joff off of the parapet.
Yeah, absolutely. But she's just, it's like a sudden thing. 1 minute she's like, I'll do anything you want. And the next minute she's trying to push him off a balcony. Whereas it's much more gradual in the book. She goes back and forward quite a lot. I actually have a quote here that I think is quite relevant to this. So, Joffrey was the king now, she thought. Her gallant prince would never hurt her father, no matter what he might have done. If she went to him and pleaded for mercy, she was certain he'd listen. He had to listen. He loved her. Even the queen said so. Joff would need to punish father. The lords would expect it. But perhaps he could send him back to Winterfell or exile him to one of the free cities across the narrow sea. It would only have to be for a few years, and then she and Joffrey would be married. Once she was queen, she could persuade Joff to bring her father back and grant him a pardon. Only, if Mother or Robb did something treasonous, called the banners or refused to swear fealty or anything, it could all go wrong. Her Joffrey was good and kind. She knew it in her heart, but a king had to be stern with rebels. She had to make them understand. She had to. I'll write the letters, Sansa told them.
Oh, bless her.
I know.
Silly girl.
Yeah, and you don't get that in the show.
Yeah.
In the show, you just get, oh, right, okay, yeah, I'll write them. Right? But all that rationale that's going on inside her head, she's utterly convinced. She's just such a sad little naive girl. I feel so sorry for her when I read that paragraph.
Yeah. But you would when you're 12.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
You would. I was like, he loved her. Oh, he wouldn't do that to her.
No, the princess in books wouldn't do that to you, Sansa. He's not that.
The bad guys don't come wearing signs, sweetheart.
No. And we don't know that when we're 12, girls. So
yeah, her rationalization's way reduced in the show. It's just, and I think her interactions with the Hound as well are a bit softened. I think she's way more scared of him in the book than what comes across in the show as well. But he's a big scary dude.
Yeah.
Question, does he call her little bird in the book like he does in the show?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch out for that.
I can't remember. I'm going to search of Ice and Fire that. So yeah, after I found the quote here, it says, some septa trained you well. You're like one of those birds from the Summer Isles, aren't you? A pretty little talking bird, repeating all the pretty little words they taught you to recite. That's unkind. Sansa could feel her heart fluttering in her chest. You're frightening me. I want to go now. There's others as well. So yeah, he does make the little bird reference. There's another one, actually. The Hound was right. She thought, I'm only a little bird repeating the words they taught me. And you know what? I'm just wondering if the little bird thing's maybe some foreshadowing for some future warging from Sansa.
Yeah,
she doesn't have her wolf anymore, but that doesn't mean she can't connect with another animal. So that could be cool.
That would be cool.
Let's hope. Let's hope, because Sansa in the books is about to make a comeback in a big way. At least that's what I'm feeling was happening towards the end. Who knows what George has actually written?
It's a waiting game.
It is indeed. So, are we done with Sansa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am too. So how about Arya? What do you got for Arya?
I thought she was pretty much the same in the book as she is in the show.
I don't think her story deviates much at all. I think
no. The only bit I felt was different was when she is down with the dragon skulls and overhears the conversation.
Yes.
With Varys. It was much scarier in the book.
Yeah.
For her, because you have that internal monologue.
Yeah.
That like describing how dark it is and how terrifying.
She is really scared down there, and it's like it's so dark.
Yeah.
And the descriptive language is absolutely brilliant. As much as that scene, that chapter, the descriptive writing there is absolutely stunning. One of the things that I actually did was redo the conversation without it all. So we just get the conversation.
Right, yeah.
Because I feel like digressing away from Arya slightly.
Yeah.
Varys and Illyrio's conversation, it seems as good a place as any to talk about. It's quite interesting without Arya's inner monologue. So, found one bastard, one said. The rest will come soon. A day, 2 days, a fortnight. And when he learns the truth, what will he do? The second voice asked in the liquid accents of the free cities. The gods alone know, the first voice said. The fools tried to kill his son, and what's worse, they made a mummer's farce of it. He's not a man to put that aside. I warn you, the wolf and the lion will soon be at each other's throats, whether we will it or not. Too soon, the voice with the accent complained. What good is war now? We're not ready. Delay. As well bid me to stop time. Do you take me for a wizard? The other chuckled, no less. What would you have me do? Asked the torchbearer. If one hand can die, why not a second? Replied the man with the accent and the forked yellow beard. You have danced the dance before, my friend. Before is not now, and this hand is not the other, the scarred man said. Perhaps so, the forked beard replied. Nonetheless, we must have time. The princess is with child. The Khal will not bestir himself until his son is born. You know how they are, these savages. If he does not bestir himself soon, it may be too late, the stout man in the steel cap said. This is no longer a game for two players, if ever it was. Stannis Baratheon and Lysa Arryn have fled beyond the reach, and the whispers say that they are gathering swords around them. The Knight of Flowers writes Highgarden, urging his lord father to send his sister to court. The girl is a maid of 14, sweet and beautiful and tractable. And Lord Renly and Sir Loras intend that Robert should wed her, and make her a new queen. Littlefinger, the god only knows what game Littlefinger is playing. Yet Lord Stark's the one who troubles my sleep. He has the bastard, he has the book, and soon enough he'll have the truth. and now his wife has abducted Tyrion Lannister thanks to Littlefinger's meddling. Lord Tywin will take that for an outrage, and Jaime has a queer affection for the imp. If the Lannisters move north, that will bring the Tullys in as well. Delay, you say? Make haste, I reply. Even if the finest of jugglers cannot keep 100 balls in the air forever. You are more than a juggler, old friend. You're a true sorcerer. All I ask is that you work your magic a while longer. What I can do, I will, the one with the torch said softly. I must have gold and another 50 birds. So many. The ones you need are hard to find, so young, to know their letters. Perhaps older, not die so easy. No, the younger are safer. Treat them gently. If they kept their tongues, the risk. So dark. They're just playing chess.
They are, and Arya can hear all of this, and she does go and try and relay what she's heard, but it's so jumbled.
Yeah, she doesn't really fully understand it.
She doesn't know who they are. There's an accent going. She's only little. She's terrified. She's in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's monsters.
Yeah, there's monsters.
I think she actually calls them monsters.
She does call them monsters.
Yeah.
But she does realise that they're just the dragon skulls, and they can't hurt her. They're not alive.
Do you have anything more to say about their conversation that they have?
It's so laced with subtext. It's absolutely, there's just so much going on there. I've got loads to say about that conversation. We could talk about that conversation for the whole podcast.
No, that's true.
We absolutely could. So, they're playing chess. They've got a plan. It's clearly war, but on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The last section, though, is quite terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about, we all know about Varys' little birds, and we know in the end that they were children, and like this thing, their tongues are cut out so that they can't spell it, and they're, what actually is they can't read or write, but he teaches them this secret code that only he understands, so they can relay information to him, and that no one else could understand
it. Interrogated.
Yeah, they can't be interrogated.
But he asks for another 50.
50. Can you imagine how many of these little kids that are, all over Westeros? Some of them must be grown up.
Yeah.
He's been at this for decades. He's served 3 kings now.
Varys.
Or it's 3 kings by the time he's at Joffrey, I think.
Mm.
Yeah. But he's been at this for a long time, and over the years his spy network's grown and grown and grown. 50. And God, that's gonna come back to bite him in the ass later. One would hope.
Mm.
One would hope. Watch Varys and his little birds. But yeah, it's definitely it's a loaded conversation. And I mean, I and many other people believe that this is them planning the next Blackfire Rebellion. I think that would be number 6. 6 Blackfire Rebellion. Yeah, first one is before Dunk and Egg. Second one's during Dunk and Egg. Third one set just after. The fourth is when Egg is like way an adult. And then the 5th is the War of the Nine Penny Kings, which is like 40 years before Robert's Rebellion. This is the one where Barristan Selmy slew Melee's Blackfire, who was the last Blackfire of the male line.
Right.
And that line is referenced later, of the male line. But we'll get to that in later books. So yeah, let's save that for later books when it becomes relevant. Sure. But let's watch. But I'm definitely, because I didn't figure this out. It was later in the books that you start to piece together things from before that make about this whole Blackfire stuff. So this is like my first full reread. I mean, I've reread a chapter here and there, and I've watched a million videos since my first proper read through. But this is like the first time me going back with all these theories clear in my head, and I want to look out for them now. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely one of them. I think it's quite exciting, and I think it's very clear in the text as well that that's where this is going. But there's still so many mysteries about it too. So cool. It's a cool story. It's cool subplot, let's call it. So, other Arya thoughts? What have you got?
It's actually not in my notes. It's just I think that there was more Syrio Forel depth in the book. I think his character was really cool in the show. I think the actor that played him was awesome.
Oh, that's
exactly how I pictured him.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed those bits of the book. The dancing.
Yes. There's a lot more philosophy in their lessons. He's trying to make her think smart as well, not just fight good.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. I have a little quote, a Syrio Forel one. It's not actually Syrio Forel, it's Arya thinking of him. This is just after she's left the room with Syrio Forel and Meryn Trant. Her inner monologue reads, all that Syrio Forel had taught her went racing through her head, swift as a deer, quiet as a shadow, fear cuts deeper than swords, quick as a snake, calm as still water, fear cuts deeper than swords, strong as a bear, fierce as a wolverine, fear cuts deeper than swords. A man who fears losing has already lost, fear cuts deeper than swords, fear cuts deeper than swords, fear cuts deeper than swords. That's her running through the halls of the Red Keep, scrambling, not knowing what to do. I like that one.
Yeah, it shows the impact that he's had on her.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the first thing that she's been allowed to do with instruction that she genuinely enjoys.
Yes.
For the first time in her life. She hates sewing. She hates all of those girly things. And this thing she's been allowed to do that she loves.
And she values every minute that she gets to do it. She works so hard, chasing cats and standing on one foot.
Yeah.
Those are great chapters and great scenes. As you said, the guy that played him in the show was absolutely brilliant. I think in the book, it's like, I think we're definitely left with that feeling that Syrio is dead. You know, that there's no way he made it. We hear Harry hears some loud, scary noises as she's getting away. And I think in the book, it's in the TV show, you're like, oh, he can get out of that. It's just one dude. He could totally get out of that. And there was always a part of you that was hoping he was going to reappear.
Yeah.
And that would have been great. I think there are some book readers as well that still hold out hope. I know it's definitely one of the theories out there. I don't know how popular it is, but it's definitely a theory that has circulated that Syrio Forel is still alive, or Syrio Forel is jacking a car, or like, there's theories about everything. Everybody's got theories. Everybody wants their favourite character to survive. It's Game of Thrones. You're watching the wrong show.
Yeah.
Maisie's brilliant. Maisie has an absolutely strong, really strong performance. And I think, like you said, I think the show just got her part spot on, really. Yeah, they really did. There was no tweaking necessary. It was a brilliantly written part. It was perfect as it was.
It was.
Oh yeah, so a couple of throwaway lines I've just found in my notes here about Arya, actually. When she's talking about the Winterfell crypts, as we already have. So I've got, she says, old Nan had told her that there were spiders down there and rats as big as dogs. Rob smiled when she said that. There are worse things than spiders and rats, he whispered. This is where the dead walk. And she's thinking about this while she's escaping, going back down through the tunnels and past the scary monsters and stuff like that. She's thinking about the crypts. At Winterfell, trying to tell herself Winterfell crypts are way scarier than here. But she's having this memory, this time where they've all went down there, and I can't remember whether I think it's Rob. Yeah, Rob's taking her down there, and John's hiding, all covered in white flour, and jumps out on her, and they scare the crap out of her and everything. So then she's like, the memory made Arya smile, and after that, the darkness held no more terrors for her. The stable boy was dead. She'd killed him, and if he jumped out at her, she'd kill him again. She was going home. Everything would be better when she was home again, safe behind Winterfell's grey granite walls. Oh, I love that. If he jumps out, I'll kill him again. Oh, she's so feisty. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's a great character.
Right, so let's move on to Bran.
Cool. Well, we do have a bit of Bran, don't we?
Yeah.
In the beginning, and then there's really not much of him at all after he's sort of woken up. I don't remember there being. There was more King's Landing stuff after that, as far as I can remember from what I read. There's a couple of bits I like from his dream.
The Fallen Dream is so cool.
His chat with the crow is hilarious at times. So there's a whole, are you really a crow? Bran asked. Are you really falling? The crow asked back. It's just a dream, Bran said.
So good.
And another one, I mean, not funny, but...
I mean, this dream lasts the whole chapter.
Yeah.
It's hard to quote from.
This one's a good goosebumpy one. This is, now you know, the crow whispered as it sat on his shoulder. Now you know why you must live. Why? Bran said, not understanding. Falling. Because winter is coming.
So creepy. So cool.
Yeah, and Bran's so important. You get from that point in Bran 3, oh shit, Bran's really important.
Bran is important. Bran is very, very, very important. He is, and you're right. That is the moment you realize it, and you're believing this. It's like he's going to fly. He's going to. You're willing him to recover fully from his injuries. Then when you find out that he isn't going to physically recover, you start to think, well something's coming though. There's the foreshadowing's there. Something's definitely coming. It takes some time to play out though. Bran's story's a slow burner.
It is. But you get more of a sense that he's really important in the book. What have you got for Bran?
It's actually a really long one. I don't know if I should read it all. But my favourite part is, it's not with Bran, it's Maester Luwin and Osha telling him about the children of the forest and stuff like that. It's really cool. I'll wing it. I'll just see what bits jump out at me, or maybe I'll read the whole thing. Who knows? We'll just see what happens. They were a people dark and beautiful, small of stature, no taller than children, even when grown to manhood. They lived in the depths of the wood, in caves and in crannogs, in secret tree towns. Slight as they were, the children were quick and graceful. Male and female hunted together with weirwoods, bows, and flying snares. Their gods were the gods of the forest, stream and stone, the old gods whose names are secret. Their wise men were called greenseers and carved strange faces into the weirwoods to keep watch on the woods. Hang on a second. I need to make this bigger because, it's coming in and out of focus. Zoom. That's what I want to do. Zoom. How long the children reigned here or where they came from, no man can know. But some 12,000 years ago, the first men appeared from the east, crossing the broken arm of Dorne before it was broken. They came with bronze swords and great leathern shields, riding horses. No horse had ever been seen on this side of the narrow sea. No doubt the children were as frightened by the horses as the first men were by the faces in the trees. As the first men carved out holdfasts and farms, they cut down the faces and gave them to the fire. Horror-struck, the children went to war. The old songs say that the Greenseers used dark magic to make the seas rise and sweep away the land, shattering the arm. But it was too late to close the door. The wars went on until the earth ran red with the blood of men and the children both. But more children than men, for men were bigger and stronger, and wood and stone and obsidian make a poor match for bronze. Finally, the wise of both races prevailed, and the chiefs and heroes of the first men met the Greenseers and the wood dancers amidst the weirwood groves of a small island in the great lake called the God's Eye. There they forged the pact. The first men were given the coastlands, the high plains and the bright meadows, and the mountains and the bogs, but the deep woods were to remain forever the children's, and no more weirwoods were to be put to the axe anywhere in the realm. So the gods might bear witness to the signing, every tree on the island was given a face, and afterward the Sacred Order of Green Men was formed to keep watch over the Isle of Faces. The pact began 4,000 years of friendship between men and children. In time, the first men even put aside the gods they had brought with them and took up the worship of the secret gods of the wood. The signing of the pact ended the Dawn Age and began the Age of Heroes.
Awesome.
It's so cool. But you know what? I think the reason I wanted to read it is because, see, when you're actually reading the book, this chapter is so hard to take in because it comes right after the sword falls on Ned.
Right, okay.
So you've got the end Arya's chapter where Ned's dead, and then it's like off to Winterfell for a history lesson. Yes, for a lore lesson with Maester Luwin, and you're just like, but what's happening in King's Landing? And it's so hard to take this in when your brain's on another. Like, I need to know what's going on down there, even when you've read it. Or for me anyway, I was like, it didn't matter that I've already read it and I know what's going on. I was still like, this is so hard to concentrate on and it's brilliant.
I think because we've done so much looking into this, I didn't get that from it. I was just like, oh, cool, a bit that's not in the show. Awesome.
Yes, that too. They do talk about it as much, but I feel like we get little snippets of that whole speech.
That's way cooler.
For it to be delivered like a big monologue like that is fantastic. Because a lot of the lore we get throughout it is scattered. It's a line here or a thought there, and yeah, it's nice to just see it all laid out like that, as in this is the history, this is what happened. Chunk, man. Or this is what the people believe. Maybe it's not as clear cut as that. Something that George is quite good at doing is writing an ambiguous history.
Well, for me,
because history is ambiguous.
Looking at the differences between the show and the book, well, George wrote it. George wrote the book, so it's cool for me to, after 2 watches of the show, to read that for the first time and be like, oh, so this is the original text. This is where
it all came from.
Yeah.
This
I like this. This is cool. That was cool, but this is where it came from.
Yeah.
And this makes me happy. Yes, that's where I was with those snippets of information that we just didn't get in the show.
We didn't at all. There's a wee bit extra on the end there, just a wee bit further into the history. So much in this one chapter. This is such a loaded chapter. So long as the kingdoms of the first men held sway, the pact endured, all through the Age of Heroes and the Long Night and the birth of the 7 kingdoms. Yet finally there came a time, many centuries later, when other peoples crossed across the narrow sea. The Andals were the first, a race of tall, fair-haired warriors that came with steel and fire, and the 7-pointed star of the new gods painted on their chests. Their wars lasted hundreds of years, but in the end, 6 southern kingdoms all fell before them. Only here, where the king in the north threw back every army that tried to cross the neck, did the rule of the first men endure. The Andals burnt out the weirwood groves, hacked down the faces, and slaughtered the children where they found them, and everywhere proclaimed triumph of the 7 over the old gods. So the children fled north.
It's cool. It has a lot of like Celtic mythology and druid sort of vibes.
Oh, absolutely. These Andals are 100% the Saxons and the Angles of the Dark Ages, and the Danes, etc., coming over and setting up in England and pushing back the Britons. And so, this is George drawing directly for British history here, and it's really cool. But the first part is just dripping in magic and lore. It's like the second part's more like a history lesson. And I think that comes from the fact that the Andals kept records, whereas the previous stuff is past like generational stories.
Like the druids who kept records.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole fantasy element of it, which I think he's drawn from Irish mythology. That's where I think he's taken a lot of that from.
Yeah, for sure. There's there's so much of it going on there. There's the Irish mythology. There's like the Angles and the Saxons, like we're talking about. There was a long night in the Dark Ages. It was a year without sun, which is just so cool when I was researching this stuff, because I was trying
Sure,
to make...
that wasn't last summer in Scotland. The second I put my hot tub out.
That's it. That was the long night. But yeah, it draws from King Arthur and things like. So we've got Fire and Blood, for example, is written from the perspective of Archmaester Gildane. And in the Dark Ages, one of the only texts we have from that time is from a monk, I think it is, named Gildas.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. George heavily drew from that period of history within Britain. And then as well, I think that the Ironborn are very Viking-y.
Yeah.
They definitely are reaping and raping and raiding.
Raping and pillaging.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, there's some really fantastic world building going on there. And again, you just don't get that in the show. Nobody sits. Yeah, do you know what's annoying? Right? It's like we can listen in this really long-winded story about how Peter Baelish challenged Ned Stark's brother at a duel for Catelyn's hand, and this really awkward sex scene that's going on in the background with two working girls. And it's like they've got time for that, but they don't have time for us to sit down and listen to history and lore being laid out like that.
Yep. And there's, like we discussed earlier, there's little characters that you could have got some really cool info from.
Yeah.
However, we watched two girls fisting. Great. Thanks for that, guys. I will never watch Game of Thrones season 1 with any of my children, even when they're 40.
No,
thank you.
No, not happening. No, can't do it. Can't make me.
No.
Which is a shame, because I think your children would actually really enjoy.
Absolutely. Just go watch it. Not with me, guys.
Yeah, totally.
Just not with me.
Yeah. Your kids are cool. They'll like the cool stuff. But that's just awkward, even.
Oh, does anyone need a refill? Oh, cup of tea. Oh.
Did you not say your nana used to do that?
Yeah, she did. And then you're just alone there with the sex scene, thinking, shit, when is she coming back? I hope it's over. I don't want to look, but I can't tear my eyes away now.
And I don't, when she comes through, I don't want her to see me looking at it.
Yeah, I don't know where to look. Do I look at that? Or do I cover my eyes? Do I sit like I'm not bothered? It's just, you don't need that in your life, really.
No, you don't. Oh, so true. But great stuff there in a Bran chapter. I mean, none others really stand out to me in memory. I'm not saying that Bran's chapter, there was anything wrong with them, but the
only other thing in a Bran chapter was, but again, it's more lore. It's Old Nan.
Old Nan, of course. That's cool stuff.
And that was in Bran 1, and she's like blethering away to him about her.
Have you got your Old Nan clips? Quotes, should I say?
I've not, because for some reason I've obviously left them open somewhere in my 46 tabs, and I have no idea where that is.
Well, to be fair, I think that the TV show did Old Nan justice.
Absolutely.
So refer to part 1, where we have the audio clip of Old Nan telling the story. Because I don't suppose that the book reading is going to be any different.
It's verbatim.
It is, absolutely. So yeah, it's better hearing the actress that portrays Old Nan deliver it than me.
Absolutely. And there's some Raman Djawadi in there as well that really hits it. It's just, actually, that's one of the bits in the show that was better than in the book.
I'll agree with that. Yeah. And so, definitely, you'd much rather hear the actress that plays Old Nan do it than me or Emma. So, just It's in part 1.
Know your strengths.
Yes, exactly. She's such a great character. So over the top, but in the best way. Hey, do you have any other Bran to speak of?
No, I don't.
Bear with me. I don't think I do either.
Yeah, I think that concludes our Bran section. Let's move on to Tyrion. He, for me, was quite the same, if I'm honest. Blunt. However, there's a kind side to him. He's hilarious.
Yes.
A lot of his stuff I thought was verbatim. So the difference for me...
Again, like Arya, such a well-written character in the first
and
place.
a great
There's no
actor.
point to-
Yeah.
A great actor and a well-written character.
Yeah.
There's just no need to change anything.
There were bits that were missed out.
There were definitely, yeah.
And we're going to come to that.
Yeah.
But for me, particularly, we don't really get to see how fascinated Tyrion is with the dragons.
No, that's not clear in the TV show.
No.
You're right.
So
Well, good
I
point.
do have this section that I really like from the book. So, and the opening line is, Tyrion had a morbid fascination with the dragons.
He does.
So, when he had first come to King's Landing for his sister's wedding to Robert Baratheon, he had made it a point to seek out the dragon skulls that had hung on the walls of the Targaryens' throne room. King Robert had replaced them with banners and tapestries, but Tyrion had persisted until he found the skulls in the dank cellar where they had been stored. I mean, that is just like such a fucking insult, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He had expected to find them impressive, perhaps even frightening. He had not thought to find them beautiful, yet they were. As black as onyx, polished smooth so the bones seemed to shimmer in the light of his torch. They liked the fire, he sensed. So he's sensing something off them, and he finds them beautiful, which is cool. So he'd thrust the torch into the mouth of one of the larger skulls and made the shadows leap and dance on the wall behind him. The teeth were long, curving knives of black diamond. The flame of the torch was nothing to them. They had bathed in the heat of far greater fires. When he moved away, Tyrion could have sworn that the great beast's empty eye sockets had watched him go. It's so cool. It actually gave me goosebumps.
That is so cool. I'm sorry, but I think that just gives way more weight to the Tyrion's a Targaryen theory. It really does. I mean, I'm not going to get into the theory here because, I don't know it well enough, to be fair. But
on the face of it, though, this suggests that he has an affinity
with those dragons. Yeah. Yes, he does. It's really interesting. I love it. And the scripting is just so cool.
Yeah.
It's just, George's descriptive writing is just, it has no equal.
No.
It's very, very good. But yeah, great passage. Absolutely love it. Do you have any other Tyrion thoughts?
I don't, but do you?
Well, one or two.
Lovely.
So there's a missing battle from the TV show that, it's certainly missing from Tyrion's perspective. I think they made a bit of a joke of his character, to be honest with you, because...
I'm going to agree with you there.
Yeah. Tyrion gets knocked out, flat on his back, wakes up after the battle, and that's not how it went down. Tyrion was absolutely present in the battle and killed men with his bare hands, practically. He was right in the thick of it, and so when looking at that, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to make a big deal about this battle, and then I looked a little bit further, and I was like, actually, we kind of missed the whole war. So here we have the battle breakdown of book 1 that you didn't get to see on screen.
This is so awesome.
Right. Okay. So give me a sec.
This is why we love you.
Oh, this is why I love this stuff. So, where do you think the war really began? Did it begin when Catelyn took Tyrion? Was it when someone tried to execute Bran? Or was it when Jon Arryn died?
Who knows?
Who knows, really? I mean, it's a chain of events, but let's just say for the purposes of this conversation that it began when Catelyn took Tyrion, because that is when Tywin Lannister raised an army.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, first of all, Tywin dispatched the Mountain, Gregor Clegane, to disrupt the Riverlands. Right. This was to stop them gathering forces and potentially draw out Ned so that he could be captured. Jaime fucked that up when he had the fight with Ned in the streets.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that was initially Tywin's plan. Send Gregor Clegane off to draw Ned out. But Ned was like, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send off Beric Dondarrion and 100 men, and they're going to deal with Mr. Clegane. And then Jaime goes to join his dad after his fight with Ned as well. So Ned's execution triggers the Stark army, right? And as Robb marches south, 2 Lannister armies invading the Riverland. Jaime fought 2 battles at the Golden Tooth and at River Run, and then sieged the castle at River Run.
Yep.
Right? It started out to draw Ned out, and then it was just like, the Tullys are obviously united to the Starks. We're going to take them on. So meanwhile, at the Mummer's Ford, Beric Dondarrion and 100 of his knights had encountered Clegane with the vanguard and had a big battle. Dondarrion and a small group of survivors escaped and continued as guerrilla fighters throughout the war.
Oh, cool.
And they became the Brotherhood Without Banners, which we will hear much of in Book 2. So anyway, so Tywin then moves in with his main army into the Riverlands. He goes via a much more southern route and taking some lesser houses along the way, trying to flank River Run. And he was heading towards the Vale. Obviously another stronghold united to Catelyn Stark, through her sister. So he was moving towards the Vale, but he hadn't quite reached Harrenhal yet at this point. Meanwhile, thinking that Jaime would be taking care of what's going on in the Riverlands. So Jaime's army is sieging River Run. Tywin's moving towards the Vale of Arryn. So at this point, Tywin's winning. He really is. He's got them on the back foot. The Stark army is still in the north. So Robb crosses at the Twins, and so he leaves the majority of his forces, the pikes, archers, and the men-at-arms with Roose Bolton, and they then march south through the night to arrive a mile north of Tywin, near the inn at the crossroads. So the Starks have maybe 16,500 men left after Robb left with all the mounted troops. The Stark army, not specifically the Starks, but the Stark army attacks first, right down the centre. Right, we've got on the right, we've got Marbrand, who's got about 4,000 cavalry. In the middle, we've got Kevin Lannister with 10,000 pikes, archers and swords. On the left, we've got Clegane with mounted archers, the tribesmen, and Tyrion, etc. All the mercenaries and a kind of a rabble of unruly types. They're all mismatched. They're not a coordinated army.
Are these I love that you've broken this down, because it's like, I haven't absorbed this in that way, so it's really cool for me, so it'll be really cool for everyone else listening that hasn't absorbed it in that way.
I hope so.
So the rabbly people, is that like Shagra and stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Right, cool. And Gregor Clegane is leading that vanguard, right? Along with Tyrion. They're all mounted, and they've got the river on their left.
Yeah. So my brain's processing the bits from the show, the bits for the book. Yeah. That I remember more of the show, if I'm honest. So I must absolutely be a more visual.
Well, there's a lot of really descriptive writing from Tyrion and his thoughts about people and who they all are that comes into this thing as well. So it's kind of, the details are all broken up by Georgie's wonderful descriptive writing. But I thought, do you know what? Let's just focus on what actually happened in the battles.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
Because it's like there's so much that just went it didn't happen in the TV show. We didn't see these battles. And these battles in themselves, I think, could have made a fantastic show in themselves. Obviously, they're not going to have the budget for that in season 1. Sadly. But anyway, so here we are, right? I've got a couple of quotes here. Oh, right, this is a good one. So the vanguard was made up of the sweepings of the west, mounted archers and leather jerkins, a swarming mass of undisciplined free riders and sellswords, field hands on plough horses armed with scythes and their fathers' rusted swords, half-trained boys from the stews of Lannisport, and Tyrion and these mounted clansmen, crow food, Bronn muttered beside him, giving voice to what Tyrion had left unsaid. He could only nod. Had his lord father taken leave of his senses? No pikes, too few bowmen, bare handful of knights, the ill-armed and the unarmoured, commanded by an unthinking brute who led with his rage. How could his father expect this travesty of a battle to hold his left? And he knows, indeed. Kevin Lannister's also got 300 cavalry with him, right in the middle, and Tywin is behind with another 5,000 reserves. First of all, I want to do a wee quote here, because this is Tyrion describing his father on the battlefield. Tywin Lannister's battle armour put his son Jaime's gilded suit to shame. His great cloak was sewn from countless layers of cloth of gold, so heavy that it barely stirred even when he charged, so large that its drape covered most of the stallion's hindquarters when he took the saddle. No ordinary clasp would suffice for such a weight, so the great cloak was held in place with a matched pair of miniature lionesses crouching on his shoulders, as if poised to spring. Their mate, a male with a magnificent mane, reclined atop Tywin's great helm, one paw raking the air as he roared. All 3 lions were wrought in gold with ruby eyes. His armour was heavy steel plate enamelled in dark crimson, greaves and gauntlets inlaid with ornate gold scrollwork. His rondels were golden sunbursts and all his fastenings were gilded, and the red steel was burnished to such a high sheen that it shone in the fire in the light of the rising sun.
Tywin, you bougie git.
Totally. It's very elaborate.
He's a bit extra, isn't he?
He is a bit.
You sure he's straight? He sounds very camp, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. He certainly knows how to pull an outfit together.
Certainly does. It's giving.
Where were we? So yeah, on the left side, Clegane's mounted renegades moved to attack. Tywin's plan was a trap, expecting them to lose, but they smashed through the shield wall anyway and actually won on that side. So I love this quote from the mountain here. It says, "Any man runs, I'll cut him down myself." He was roaring when he caught sight of Tyrion. "Imp, take the left. Hold the river if you can."
So does he hold the river? I'm excited now.
They absolutely do. So they break through, and because Tywin sees this opportunity, he then moves his reserve troops in behind them. So Kevin pushes the pike walls forward and the Starks start to retreat. Roose escapes with about 12,000 unharmed soldiers because it was all a ruse.
Mm-hmm.
This was just to poke the bear while Robb and his 6,000 mounted troops can go and sort out what's going on at Riverrun. So, yeah, they absolutely, it was all just a big distraction. Hey, look at us. We're a huge army. We want to fight. And Tywin fell for it. He absolutely fell for it. But from Tyrion's perspective, like, so much more happened. I mean, there's so many great lines here from... there's too many quotes. I can't do them all. Right? Like Tyrion, he's absolutely conscious during the whole battle. I think there's a moment where he kind of gets a bit dizzy, but when he kind of comes to, he's still fighting the same guy, so he can't have been out for long. So he's there for the whole battle. They go in, they charge in, they break through the shield wall, they absolutely take out the Starks on that side. He's fighting hand-to-hand combat. He gets knocked off his horse. He's in the mud, and then he sees his father come charging in. The reserve sweeping up, but the Stark army's already in retreat by this point. So, yeah, the only real action happened on Tyrion's side of the battle, and that was what was cut from the show.
Yeah, that's quite sad.
It really is. But I've got one more quote here. So this is from this part of the war. But it's when Tyrion speaks to his father afterwards. Your wild men fought well. His father's eyes were on him, pale green flecked with gold, so cool they gave Tyrion a chill. Did that surprise you, father? He asked. Did I upset your plans? We were supposed to be butchered, were we not? Lord Tywin drained his cup, his face expressionless. I put the least disciplined men on the left. Yes, I anticipated that they would break. Robb Stark is a green boy, more like to be brave than wise. I'd hoped that when he saw our left collapse, he might plunge into the gap, eager for a rout. Once he was fully committed, Sir Kevin's pikes would wheel and take him from the flank, driving him into the river, while I brought up the reserve, and you thought it best to place me in the midst of all this carnage, yet keep me ignorant of your plans. A feigned rout is less convincing, his father said, and I'm not inclined to trust my plans to a man who consorts with sellswords and savages. I pity my savages ruined your dance. Tyrion pulled off his steel gauntlet and let it fall to the ground, wincing at the pain that stabbed up his arm. The Stark boy proved more cautious than I expected for one of his years, Lord Tywin admitted. But a victory is a victory. You appear to be wounded. Tyrion's right arm was soaked with blood. Good of you to notice, father, he said through clenched teeth. Might I trouble you to send your maesters, unless you relish the notion of having a one-armed dwarf for a son? And I got one other wee highlight here. It's just a sentence. And it's afterwards, Tyrion thinking, a green boy, Tyrion remembered, more like to be brave than wise. He would have laughed if he hadn't hurt so much. But yeah, that is so disappointing that battle was missing, because it was pivotal.
Yeah.
A lot happened there. And I don't think in the next part as well, with Jaime and stuff like that none of that really came across in the show afterwards. They just get, we've captured Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
It's like, you had a battle, did you?
Mm-hmm.
So, any thoughts on the battle yourself, now that you've heard it laid out like that?
It's really cool to hear it laid out rather than... Well, I mean, I've already read it, so... But it didn't absorb in my head like that. It was way better that you have broken it down and given it to me in that way.
Excellent.
So I felt like I could picture better the way that you've described that. So no, that's really cool. Thanks for doing that.
No worries. I have a part too.
Yes.
Right. So what happened next at Riverrun?
Mm-hmm.
Again, more of the war that we didn't see in the show. So while he was marching south, Robb Stark was recruiting more Riverlanders. Brynden Tully, the Blackfish, had been on point and taken out Lannister ravens and scouts. So they had no idea he was coming.
Yeah.
He did a great job. So Jaime's army is split into 3 camps on the banks of the Tumblestone and the Red Fork rivers. Mm-hmm. But they were unaware of the 6,000 Stark men lurking in the Whispering Wood on the north bank of the Tumblestone. So Jaime was continuously sending out little groups, often going out with them, to see if he could catch any scouts or taking out lesser little houses around the area as well. And because he always went with the guys that he'd sent out, it made the plan really easy. Like, he was quite predictable. They just had to wait for him to come out again. So what happened was Robb, along with his own personal guard and the Frey horsemen, were in the woods on the west of this valley, right? And then you've got the Whispering Wood on the right of the valley, where the Malisters, the Umbers, the Mormonts, the greater part of the army were all hiding. In the back, we have the Karstarks, who were positioned back enough that they wouldn't have been seen at this point, ready to just come straight down the middle of this valley. And then Brynden Rivers, the Blackfish, along with a few hundred riders, comes to the shores of the Tumblesyn, banks of the Tumblesyn, gives Jaime a wee wave, and then runs back up the valley. And Jaime, of course, follows them.
Is this just arrogance on Jaime's behalf?
Yeah, absolutely. He thought, yay, we've got the Blackfish.
Yeah.
Right? He's been hanging about here being pesky for, a while.
Yeah, Jaime, he's totally going to wave.
Yeah. Like, so... So anyway, they then chase them back up the valley, and Rob's forces just follow them. He is just pincered.
Do they close?
Yeah, they come in from both sides and in front. He is engulfed, and he his men go down. Jaime goes down swinging though.
Caught in a trap.
Absolutely. What was it? So, no one can fault Lannister on his courage, Glover says. When he saw that all was lost, he rallied his retainers and fought his way back up the valley, hoping to reach Lord Robb and cut him down, and almost did. He mislaid his sword in Eddard Karstark's neck after he took Torrhen's hand off and split Darren Horwood's skull open, Robb said. All the time he was shouting for me. If they hadn't tried to stop him, I should then be mourning in place of Lord Karstark, Catelyn said. Your men did what they were sworn to do, Robb. They died protecting their liege lord. Grieve for them, honour them for their valour, but not now. You have no time for grief. You may have lopped the head off a snake, but 3/4 of the body is still coiled around my father's castle. We have won the battle, not a war. Very true. See what I mean about what we were saying earlier about Catelyn having a lot more political awareness than comes across in the show. So Robb then moves his army back into the wood and south towards the remaining Lannister forces that are on the north bank. He attacks them, coming down from the Whispering Wood, and attacks these Lannisters on the north bank. The Lannisters on the opposite side of the river start pushing up towards them, and a fight ensues here between these guys, right? Meanwhile, the Lannister troops that are on the southwest side of River Run, they start trying to cross the river. And some of Robb's men come down the riverbank to meet them. And they then...
So they're just like a wall at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They just come down, meet them. They take all of these guys out, and that's that. Then you've got this Tyroshi mercenary captain who just defects to the northern side. He's like, fuck that, these guys are winning, I'm joining them. And a whole load of other Lannister troops under Forley Prester retreat as well. They make a run for it. So yeah, it's just, they absolutely crush all of the Lannister forces at River Run. They are just, because they take them by complete surprise.
Yeah, I feel like the Lannisters have overcomplicated it as well.
Yeah, by splitting their army like that. But because of the way River Run is situated, it's like...
They would have been better crossing the river and meeting them on land, really, because they had the larger army, didn't they?
Yeah.
If they were all banded together instead of being split up.
Yeah, exactly. They did have a larger army because Robb just took it was like 6,000 troops.
Yeah. Bested by a, what was he? He's 15 in the book, isn't he? Yeah. Bested by a 15-year-old kid. Well done.
Absolutely.
It's like that. Are you smarter than a 10-year-old?
Clearly not.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jaime must be about 30 by this point as well. And I'm thinking about him being a teenager in the realm towards the end of the Mad King's reign. He was 16 or something.
So how old was he when he...
He was 16 when he became a member of the Kingsguard, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And it was maybe a year or two after that. So no more than 18, I would say. That's a guess. Did I have anything else to add on this? No, I didn't. We're good. So, this is the war that they missed from the show.
That's such a shame. For Tyrion's sake.
It is, actually, especially, for that one particular character, even more so. But it would have been great to see some of this battle. Oh, sorry, one more quote. Because this is Rob taking Greywind into battle with him.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we don't, it's not something we see in the show at all. Really, we hear of it, it's mentioned, but it doesn't happen. Anyway, let me do this quote. Afterwards, she could not claim to have seen the battle, yet she could hear. The valley rang with echoes, the crack of a broken lance, the clash of swords, the cries of Lannister and Winterfell and Tully, River Run and Tully. When she realised there was no more to see, she closed her eyes and listened. The battle came alive around her. She heard hoofbeats, iron boots splashing in the shallow water, the woody sound of swords on oaken shields and the scrape of steel against steel, the hiss of arrows, the thunder of drums, the terrified screaming of 1,000 horses. Men shouted curses and begged for mercy, and got it or not, and lived or died. The ridges seemed to play queer tricks with sound. Once she heard Rob's voice, as clear as if he'd been standing right by her side, calling, "To me, to me." And she heard his direwolf, snarling and growling, heard the snap of those long teeth, the tearing of flesh, shrieks of fear and pain from man and horse alike. Was there only one wolf? It was hard to be certain. Little by little, the sounds dwindled and died, until at last there was only the wolf. As a red dawn broke in the east, Greywind began to howl again.
Oh.
So good, eh?
Yeah.
Such good writing. Love it. You could just close your eyes and just picture it the same way Catelyn is. Awesome writing. Awesome writing. So that brings us to the conclusion of our battle breakdown. And a little bit of props to Robb Stark there. What a strategist at such a young age.
Well done, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. He won that one and he keeps winning for a while. He absolutely outsmarts those Lannister armies quite a lot in the next book too. So we'll do that when we cover book 2.
Nice.
Excellent. So where does that bring us to?
It brings us to our dragon section.
Yay! We're bending the rules slightly here, and we're just calling the whole Daenerys section the dragon section because she is the blood of the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just wouldn't be an episode of A Cast of Ice and Fire without our dragon section. What we're going to do during Duncan Egg?
We'll have to have an egg section. With a boing noise. What else can you have for an egg?
Who knows?
A crack?
I actually think we'll find a way to have our dragon section, but no spoilers. Right, so Daenerys, I mean, you go first. What have you got?
Obviously there's absolutely loads about her in the book, and there's loads pertaining to dragon. For me, picking a best bit, I really liked the Wake the Dragon dream that she had, because Wake the Dragon throughout the book, when Viserys is still alive, is basically you're getting a beating.
Yes.
But Wake the Dragon becomes something else when she has this dream. So the excerpt that I have is ghosts lined the hallway, dressed in the faded raiment of kings. In their hands were swords of pale fire. They had hair of silver and hair of gold and hair of platinum white, and their eyes were opal and amethyst, tourmaline and jade. Do you like that bit? Mm-hmm. Faster, they cried. Faster, faster. She raced. Now this is where I like it. Her feet melting the stone wherever they touched. Faster, the ghosts cried as one, and she screamed and threw herself forward. A great knife of pain ripped down her back, and she felt her skin tear open and smelled the stench of burning blood and saw the shadow of wings. And Daenerys Targaryen flew. Wake the dragon.
Yes.
So she's woken the dragon in her. She is the dragon.
Definitely. I think there's another hidden meaning in there too. And it comes if you break down again about taking out the descriptive writing and just sticking with the dialogue. And yeah, it goes, it starts from like a memory of Viserys and that kind of level. Don't want to wake the dragon, do you? Don't want to wake the dragon. Want to wake the dragon. Wake the dragon. You see how it a little bit drops off every time. And there's all this beautiful descriptive writing about what she's seeing and feeling. And it's absolutely brilliant. If you just break it down to those, the way that line changes throughout it, it's a transition. It's her turning that thing that was pain, that horrible memories are associated with, and giving her power. And yeah, I think it's symbolically beautiful, just that transition. Love it. What other Dany stuff you got?
That's it, man. Like, that's it. This has been a long podcast. That's it.
It has.
One each. That's where we are now.
Oh, well.
Fucked it.
So I got a wee bit here. My favourite Dany moments. I love the moment in the pyre. I love the hatching of the eggs. So just this moment of transition that Dany goes through as she's doing it, and the fact is she knows what she's doing. She's there with purpose. She 100% has decided that she's figured this out. She knows how she's going to hatch these eggs. She tried before when she put them in the brazier and everything. It was like she understood that they needed to be heated up. And that there was maybe something she was missing, but she was onto something. It was instinct. And many other Targaryens before her have tried to hatch dragon eggs since the dragons died out, and none had been successful. So who knows what it was that made Dany figure it out, but she did. And it's just amazing. It's the thing that we were hoping for this since the day she got handed the eggs. And I love the writing here. So the flames were so beautiful, the loveliest things she'd ever seen, each one a sorcerer robed in yellow and orange and scarlet, swirling with long smoky cloaks. She saw crimson fire lions and great yellow serpents and unicorns made of pale blue flame. She saw fish and foxes and monsters, wolves and bright birds and flowering trees, each more beautiful than the last. She saw a horse, a great grey stallion lined in smoke, its flowing mane of nimbus and blue flame. Yes, my love, my sun and stars. Yes, mount now, ride now. And then the next part, she's like, she heard the crack, the sounding, shattering stone. The platform of wood and brush and grass began to shift and collapse in on itself. Bits of burning wood slid down at her, and Dany was showered with ashen cinders. And something else came crashing down, bouncing and rolling, to land at her feet. A chunk of curved rock, pale and veined with gold, broken and smoking. The roaring filled the world, yet dimly through the firefall, Dany heard women shriek and children cry out in wonder. Only death can pay for life.
Ooh.
So good, eh?
Yeah.
So deep. And she goes through each egg cracks one by one. And the descriptive writing of what she's going through in that moment, what she's seeing, what she's feeling. There's visions, there's awareness of what's going on in the crowd. It's just so beautiful. But of course, the best line is that final line. As Daenerys Targaryen rose to her feet, her black hissed pale smoke venting from its mouth and nostrils. The other two pulled away from her breasts and added their voices to the call, translucent wings unfolding and stood in the air, and for the first time in hundreds of years, the night came alive with the music of dragons.
Oh, babies.
It's so cute, baby dragons. We love them. But yeah, it's such a great passage. Absolutely love it. And it's so much more than what you get in the show. You kind of get her walking into the fire and then the aftermath. You know, the fire's burnt out, she's in the smoke. That inner monologue of what she's seeing and feeling and the visions that she's having, none of that really comes across in the show.
No, but you do get some wonderful acting. You can see the love and the comfort that she has from these baby dragons.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
There's a confidence that's there.
Yeah, definitely. That comes through the transition that she's gone through in that moment is absolutely clear in the show. I will give it that.
Yeah,
but
you just can't. Yeah,
you can't.
That is what that is, isn't it?
That's that thing that a show can't do. But we've also highlighted things that a book can't do.
Yeah.
So I think overall, I think it's great to have both perspectives. And there's definitely some parts that definitely did come across better in the show. And
parts that came across better in the book.
Oh, many more, probably. Yeah. Many more parts that came across better in the book. But the show surprised us here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was down to great acting, great writing. Often the writing was George's. Because a lot of this was verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the parts where they changed it, I feel, apart from taking stuff out, the things that they added, I think, were great. Like Varys and Baelish, and I think what was added was great, and I think what was taken away was missed, but only if you read the book.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What are your overall thoughts since we're reaching the end? Unless you've got more to say about Dany. Sorry, I just
no.
I was just going with the flow there.
Overall thoughts, yeah, just exactly what you were saying there. But the injection of humour in the show for me, was the best part of the difference with the show. But the inner monologues was the best part of the books.
Yes.
Book, rather.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, not a waffler. Not in waffle mode this evening. That's it. I'm to the point.
That's fair. That's good. No, I think we've done a great job of.
I think relieved would be a better description. I'm relieved I'm not waffling.
Yeah. Right. Well, if we've done final thoughts, I think that brings us to the RIP section. In this episode, we say goodbye to Sir Waymar Royce and also Garrett and Will of the Night's Watch. And now their watch has ended.
Rest in peace. We also said goodbye to Jon Arryn, Lady the Direwolf, and Micah the Butcher's Boy.
May they rest in peace too. We also said goodbye to Viserys Targaryen.
Burn in hell, cunt. Sorry.
Khal Drogo.
Oh.
Our Sun and Stars.
Oh. We stand with you, Bubba Boss.
And Rhaegal, Dany's unborn child.
Oh.
It's very sad. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We also said goodbye to Jory Cassell. Oh, loved him.
Yeah.
Robert Baratheon.
Oh.
And Septa Mordane.
Oh. Poor Septa.
These ones hurt the heart.
Yes, they do. Finally, we say goodbye to Syrio Farrell and Eddard Stark.
Oh no.
It was the absolute biggest shock of that story first time round.
It was out fucking outrageous.
We never saw it coming. And then it was the moment that taught us to learn.
Do not fall in love with a character from Game of Thrones. They
Never.
all fucking die.
Yes, they do. So, I think that brings us to the end for now. This has been our anniversary special. And wow, it took ages, didn't it?
It really did.
It was really in depth. And there's still so much more we could have said. But, you know, in the interest of timekeeping, we've like narrowed it down. And even then, I still feel like it's been really long.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been a joy to do it though.
Absolutely. Yeah, it has. And we'll be back later in the year for book 2. We're going to be focusing on The Witcher for the foreseeable future.
Oh my God, different world.
I know, so much new lore to learn. Can't wait. So I suppose that's it for A Cast of Ice and Fire until we will be back with book 2 and then Dunk and Egg, hopefully in the new year, if they don't push it back again.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy year for us next year. We've got Dunk and Egg, we've got House of the Dragon. We'll be doing more Book Versus Show podcasts as well in between. But for the rest of this year, I think we're going to be shoving ourselves firmly into the continent and exploring the world of The Witcher.
Awesome.
That will be great. In the meantime, if you want to contact us,
if you want to get in touch, head over to theunrealhour.com. You'll find all our episodes and social media links there. Give us a like, follow or subscribe.
You can also leave us a voice message. We might even feature it on the show, or just email us at talk@theunrealhour.com.
And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We've got a new video coming soon.
Plus, our brand new podcast, Toss a Cast to Your Witcher, is coming next. Keep an eye out for it and join us for that rewatch.
And if you love what we're doing, you can support the show at patreon.com/The Unreal Hour for ad-free episodes, early access and exclusive content.
Or buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/The Unreal Hour. Every bit helps to keep the show running.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
Keep it unreal.